Riley, it's on. Hello, 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 everyone. How's everyone doing tonight? How's everyone doing tonight, Miss Scorpio Mama? I don't want you to be bougie, girl. Don't be bougie tonight. Welcome in, welcome in. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Bestie, for pinning the verse of the night. Thank you so much. The verse I have for today is pinned up at the top, guys, and I'll be reading it in a little bit. I just want to see everyone that's coming in. Hello, 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 Miss Alice. Thank you for being here. Blessed child of God. Good evening, Joe, SBK mods, and chat. Happy Thursday. Hello, Scorpio Mama. Don't be bougie. Yes, God is not through with me yet. Amen. Life with Tasharia, thank you for being here. Am I saying it right, Tasharia? I think I am. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for being here. God is good. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Nesto Shekels Shuffle Walk of Shame. Thank you for being here, dear. I appreciate it. Good evening, Thrive and Glow with Joe, Alice, Child of God, Life with Tasharia, Scorpio Mama, SBK. God is good. Yes, ma'am. I hope you guys can hear me well. Can you let me know? I lowered the music, but I'm not sure. Can you let me know? Yeah, I'll drop a 1 in the chat maybe. Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Susanna. Thank you, dear. I appreciate it. Thank you. Miss Wanda, thank you for being here, the soul session. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Oh, that's what I see. It's usually not me in the background. It's usually SBK. But I just figured out, oh, that's what I do to highlight the messages. I didn't know y'all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Nesto, if you ever need a sister, reach out, boo. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for putting a 1 in the chat. I just wanted to make sure the music was still not too loud, you know? Thank you for being here, Gorilla. I appreciate it. Good morning to you. It's good evening for me. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Miss Wanda, I just rode my indoor bike for 20 minutes and did some ab work. That's great. You know, I used to have an indoor bike a long time ago, though. A long time ago. And it was just collecting. I just used it for clothes. Isn't that crazy? Now I wish I had one, for real. See, I need to appreciate the things I have when I have them, you know? Blessings. I thought my story was bad. Yes, Scorpio Mama, I understand that one. Everybody's shutting. Yes, I refuse to put clothes on my bike or any of my equipment. I remember that's what I used to do. But that's way before, that's more than 20 years ago, you know, when I had it. So, it was a long time ago. Waiting to exhale. Thank you for being here, dear. I appreciate it. Keeping up with the Griffins. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. You might see my bestie pop in and out. We're having a lot of storms here in Texas, and his internet has been going in and out. Mine also, by the way. So just in case anything happens, we're like on the same line of storms, literally. And his power had gone out about an hour ago. So we've been going through with our power, with our internet. His power came back on, but his internet went out. So that's why you may see him pop in and out. So if you saw that. So that's what's going on. You're welcome. How have you been doing? I've been doing pretty good. Pretty good. Oh yeah, I don't know if it's I said what I said or Vaughn. I'm a chicken out on my story, boo. Vaughn, is that you? Nesto. Oh, she's saying hi to you guys. Waiting to excel, keeping up with the Griffins. Thank you for being here. So I wanted to, like I said, you see, I think he's just popping in and out, trying to get in. But I don't know. But we will move on. That's why I wasn't sure, because I saw him coming in and out, but it's okay. So, I put together this live or this transparent talk. I had put it together because I wanted to basically tell my journey, right? Um, and I just wanted to recap because I had literally put together like a series of 4 weeks, which, I've gone through now. And it's okay. Oh, he said, I can't come up, and I'm over here telling him okay, like he can hear me. Sorry, guys. But so I was putting together the series because I literally wanted to tell my own story as transparent as I could. Um, and when I hear, other people being transparent with their stories, it's something that I want to do. I want to do in case I'm able to help even one person, like I've mentioned before. Um, After losing 350 pounds, um, my journey after losing 350 pounds, I've gotten a lot of if you didn't catch my last live, I told about my transformation after losing more than 350 pounds now. I've gone through a lot of transformation. I've gone through a lot of surgeries. It's not for the weak. I'm still healing from my last surgery, which I don't think anybody, or not many people knew that I had gone through. I'm still healing through it, but I wanted to be transparent and talk about it because I'm rebuilding my life, and it's not for vanity reasons. It's for a quality of life or better quality of life. And so that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, sharing. And I wanted to recap. And I think the best verse that spoke to me to recap with was what my bestie pinned up at the top for you guys. And I want to read that now. It's Philippians 1:6, being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. And I think it perfectly ties everything together because your story is still being written, regardless of what you or I have gone through and are continuing to go through. Our story is still being written. It's not over until he comes for us, right? So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to talk about just basically recap everything because if you missed my other lives, I want to recap them tonight and go over them. Let me make sure I don't miss anything. Hello, my peer SBK. SBK, Scorpion Mama loves you. Your journey is amazing, and we always admire your transparency when you share your experiences. Thank you, Griffin. I appreciate it. I really do. I really do. Yes, I'm going to enjoy this because I'm rebuilding for a quality of life. And that is I want to hone on that because even though mine in particular, right, has to do with weight loss, it really is not about weight loss for me because when I started, if you missed my first live, I talked about where it all began, and my beginning was brokenness, and it really was. When I began, it was 20 years ago, literally, and I want to go over. I really, literally want to go over it because it. My beginnings was about brokenness. It was about starting my journey and realizing that I was at a place where I needed to do something, right? I had gone through the beginning time of life for myself, and I got to a place because of things in my childhood. I had gotten to a place where I was 525 pounds, and I wasn't going to be able to get much further. And because of things that happen in our past or in our childhood or whatever we go through, we all go through something, right? But we deal with it certain ways, right? We get through that trauma, and we are literally doing something to be able to cope. And for me, it was food. That was what I was using for comfort. And there's a lot of different things that happened in my childhood, which that's not something that I spoke of particularly. But when I got to my early 30s, I found myself that I was 500 plus pounds, and I wasn't going to be able to go much further, right? I had to start trying to heal from those things and basically pick up my big girl panties for myself and realize that I needed to think about me now. I needed to think about where I was going in the future. And I really admire some people, because they may get through things and possibly some people get through it a lot easier or a lot better than other people, you know? And I admire people that way, and they inspire me, you know? And that is why mainly I try to be transparent today, because I want to help somebody else that, hey, you don't have to get to the places where I got. And for me, and we all go through different, and I'm talking about me and my family, right? We all dealt with issues differently, but regardless of the way we dealt with it or didn't deal with it, right? It's all a matter of what we do moving forward, right? We can't just, and I see my sis in the building. Thank you for being here, sis. Um, I I always go back to something she said to me, or said. She didn't say it to me in particular, but she mentioned something that always sticks with me. And it's, if you're if today I was still just concentrating on the things that, like, not dealing with my past, right? Then why would I still be not, I'm in a good place because I started dealing with my past, in other words, right? But I knew that I needed, the beginning of my journey, it was about brokenness, and I knew that I needed to start trying to heal that in order to start losing the weight. I hope that makes sense. Um, so I felt led tonight to start to step back and just reflect on everything, putting it all together, because I realized that since my beginning was about brokenness, I went on to explain on my second week that when I started trying to heal the brokenness, I started having fear in moving forward and what could happen, right? Um, but that's when I found that I had to cling on to my faith, right? I had to I found my faith, and I had to cling on to it to be able to get over that fear. So it was my second week. I spoke about fear over faith. I was talking about finding my strength in order to thrive, and I had to find that. And I anchored that week with 2 Timothy 1:7. I don't think I mentioned, but my first week, my, my scripture was Psalms 147:3. I don't think I read that. And it's he healeth the broken in heart and bindeth up their wounds. That's where I started in my journey, and it was something where I had to become whole in order to move forward. And even in our brokenness, we're not alone. God is with us. But I didn't realize that up front. right? I didn't realize that until I started to move forward and I started to have that fear of moving forward. And that's when I found my faith and I realized I'm going to have a foundation of faith in order to hold on to this. Did I miss Real Odds in the building? Thank you for being here, Real. Yes, sir. Hey, Glow Joe. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I didn't want to miss anyone. Saying hi to everyone. SBK, you came back in the building. In the building. I don't know why I'm calling it that. Oh yeah, you came back in. I mentioned sis, we've been having some internet issues. We have storms going through. Joe, you're looking so pretty, boo. Oh, thank you. I thank you. Um, but yeah, so my second week, so I went into my second week talking about I had to get a foundation of faith in order to get over that fear. And I that week I talked about Second Timothy, or my scripture was Second Timothy 1:7. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. That was one of the things that tried to hold me back for so long, was fear. And it was different reasons, right? I mean, I just got like fear of having a child, fear. I had that for a long time. Um, but when I started my journey, it was like I had to get a why. And I finally had thought of, you know what, maybe I can have a child one day and I have to get myself under control into a better, healthier position to be able to have a child. I was married. And, but then, you know, a lot of people, guys, when you start something, and I want to mention this, when you start anything that you want to put your mind to and you want to start a goal and you want to start on a track to do something for yourself, right? People will come, and I hope I'm not alone, but I've learned it's like people will come at you and give you doubts, give you thoughts to put doubt in your mind that you can't do it. I hope if that makes sense. They'll just say something, and you know, honestly, I'm not saying that they do it on purpose, right? It's not that they do it on purpose, but man, you know, you're 525 pounds. If you're gonna have to lose a lot of weight to be able to have a child, and but regardless of those things that they say, they put fear in you, right? And it'll put fear in you, or you say it to yourself. That's me. I would tell those things to myself. Good evening, Storyteller. Thank you for being here, Shadow. I appreciate it. Lisa J. Stocks, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Waiting to excel. Hey, Joe, thank you. I know he says yes, something always negative. I've seen that. But you know, a lot of times it was me. It was me telling myself negative thoughts, right? And one of the negative things that I told myself was I was going to have too much skin. I was going to have too much skin. I wasn't going to be able. I remember having the conversation with my dad, literally, um, that I was going to have a lot of skin. You know, I didn't want to do that. I mean, there's people, y'all, I've met people that because they don't want to have loose skin one day, if they lose too much weight, they'd rather not lose weight. For real. That means literally. Um, for me, it's my health. It's for my health. That was my reasoning, right? Um, I carried, I don't know. You've seen my pictures that, you know, at the beginning. I carried my weight at the bottom of my lower half of my body. I was bigger in my lower half. I don't know how to explain it. My thighs and my butt were the biggest, literally. My hips, very wide. And I couldn't just sit in places. I broke chairs. Y'all, I could give you stories. I went through so much that I couldn't sit. The chair I'm sitting in, and I'm gonna tell you, it's true. The chair I'm sitting in, I had a manager that at the time she bought this chair for me, and it's special, bought for me. Everybody else in the office had different chairs, but she bought this chair for me because I kept breaking chairs in the office. For real. I mean, it was embarrassing, you know, and I went through those things. I was so wide, and you know, it's just things that come back to my mind. Um, it was things that I went through, and I still have the chair. When they sent us home in 2020, I brought my chair. She had also bought me, um, I don't know what it's called, like a stool for you to put your feet on to elevate your feet because my feet used to get so swollen. And she had bought one of those for me, and I brought that with me, y'all. Uh-huh. Because she bought it specially for me, right? Um, and but those are things that I went through, and so I never want you to think that you're being selfish if you put your mind to do something for yourself, to make a change for yourself. And that's my whole reasoning to doing this is because it's not literally just about weight loss. It's anything in life, right? Anything in life that you set out to do for yourself or make that change, right? And you can't get that fear to think that, oh, I'm just being selfish. Or if you do, me, that was something that I had a fear of. I'm being selfish, or I'm doing too much to put myself first. Those were things that I went through, even though I was basically drowning myself, you know. And if there's anything that, if you don't know where to start, um, when I started in the pool. I started sitting down because I was so heavy. So if you imagine, I was so heavy. I sat down and did air boxing. I went in the pool. In the pool, you're the lightest ever. Okay. I mean, and it's a lot of good exercise. So, and I'm just throwing that out there if anybody had those questions. Welcome in, everyone. I see my sis telling that I'm missing something. Wanna. I'm proud to. I got over that hump, Scorpio Mama. I'm glad to. Oh, it is Vaughn. Waiting to exhale is Vaughn. Unless she came in separate. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I guess that is maybe Vaughn. Um, I'm sitting in the chair right now, broke and all. And it happens. It really does. I propped it against the wall. I'm grateful for broken chairs. And we, once I did it enough, because there wasn't just one for me, it was many. And it wasn't just in my home or, in our barbecue. I told my son one day, I was telling him, those plastic chairs, you can buy them at Walmart. Oh, I don't know if I should say that, but anyway, it's those plastic chairs. I broke that once, and this was like in a family setting, but I'm talking about at work, when people see, and that's what it just dawned on me. I'm sitting in the chair that they bought special for me, and I mean, you can imagine it was very, very um, embarrassing, those things that I went through that today I'm like, wow, I went through that. Hey DR, thank you for being here. Thank you, I appreciate it. Looking lovely. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Um, so that was second week. I was talking about faith over fear. And that takes me into my third week where I was, my third week, I was talking about the truth about what held me back. So I had started 20 years, right? 20 years ago, started my journey, and I mentioned I was married. Um, but it comes a time, what I was explaining in my third week is what was really holding me back, and it's about who's in your corner, and what it really does matter, right? Who's in your corner. And the scripture that I mentioned then was Isaiah 41:10, is fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with thy right hand of my righteousness. And for that time period, right? It was about the person that I had in my corner. I mentioned I was married, and it's not always that people are in your life and they shouldn't be. I don't regret anything. I honestly don't. Because I believe people are in your life for a reason, for a season, right? That saying, "Hey, who dat?" No, it's okay. You didn't miss anything. I miss so much. Glad to be here. No problem, who dat. I appreciate you being here. I really do. Hey, Jimbo. Hey, hi there. Um, I um I was mentioning, that people are in our lives for a reason, right? And when I started, I realized I wanted to have a child. I was married. I planned to have a child. That's why I started my whole journey wanting to, get in a healthier place, right? So I could have a child. So I don't regret. I don't regret anything. But at that point in my life when I started losing weight, and I mentioned this, if I want to go over these things. I mentioned that in that point of my life when I was started losing weight, it was like the person in my life. Remember, when I married that person, I was 500 plus pounds, right? I literally was. I have. I remember, y'all. I had wedding pictures of me 500 plus pounds. So I'm like a ball, right? And after I started losing weight, y'all, this indicates and I didn't mention this in my previous life, but this indicates wholly that that person was not meant to go forward in my journey with me, right? This will prove it to you. Um, when I started losing weight and I had dropped a bunch of weight, right? And I said, "Hey, I want to take new pictures. I want to, you know, do a remarry type of thing so we can take new pictures because now I'm a completely different person and I look completely different and I wanted to take new pictures, right?" And he didn't want to. For him, it was not something that he wanted to do. But remember, and I'm transparent. That's why it's called transparent talk. So I'm gonna mention, and I'm not, ashamed to mention, but it's true. The more weight I lost, the more I lost my marriage because he wanted that big woman, you know. And that is very true because it was evident the more weight I lost, the more he cheated with women that were bigger. And it was crazy, y'all, because I came from a broken family. And so when I married him and I decided to have a child, that was my biggest um, hump that I needed to get over to have a child or to want to have a child. I didn't want to have a child unless I was stable in my marriage. And hey, we talked about it, we planned it, all the things that you think you're doing right to have a child and not give your child a broken marriage like I had. That was my I did not want to do that, right? I didn't want my child to experience what I had experienced. That was that I literally felt that. But so he knew that. But after I had my child, after I had my child, the more weight I lost, he started cheating on me. I found out he was cheating on me the last month of my pregnancy, and when I found so I went through, y'all, I went through 9 years of infidelity because I did not want to lose my marriage for my family, right? And so I went through those 9 years of ups and downs, and every person that I found, it was crazy, y'all. Every person that I found that he was cheating on with me, each time the person was bigger and bigger and bigger. For real. And you know, I went through it. So that tells you when I came out of that marriage, my self-esteem was in the crap, in the crapper. Okay. My self-esteem was torn. My self-esteem was no good. I don't know how to explain that part, but I'm so glad that even though I didn't let it keep me from continuing to move forward, right? I'm very thankful for that because people would tell me like, you could just go backwards, right? And not like give him what he wanted, right? Because he wanted a big woman. He did not. I once was losing weight and I was so excited, y'all. I was so excited. He was 6'2" and he was around 260 pounds. 6'2". Okay, man. I have to explain who's a man. So he was around 260 pounds, 6'2". And I had gotten down to 280 pounds. And I remember telling him I was so excited and said, "Hey, I'm only 20 pounds away from you," right? And his response was, "Oh, I've never had a woman." This was his response to me. "I've never had a woman that weighed less than me. I got to get on the ball." That's what he said to me. And just, and I'm just sharing, I'm just like throwing things out that are memories that are coming to me. That those are the kind of things like I couldn't believe it myself. Like, surely no, but the more I wanted to read, yeah, we need to all uplift one another, laugh, encourage, and not be prudent. It's imperative. And you're right. Some folks like fat stuff. Yeah, they do. That's their preference, right? To each his own. I like fat meat. Is that what you said? Oh, and the man. Scorpio mama. He was part of the weight that you needed to lose. Yes, ma'am. And that's one thing though. And I'm not here, I mean, I would say this in front of him. It's not, I have no qualms. He is the father of my child. I don't have any qualms at all with them. Too many folks on that eye to eye. Yes. Rawborn Courage, Raid by Blessed Journey. Oh, thank you for being here. Blessed Journey, I appreciate you. I really appreciate you. I really do. Thank you for being here. Hit the thumbs up, the like button. I really appreciate you all being here. That's something I haven't heard before, cheating because you were getting healthier and losing weight. And I'm not here saying that that's why he cheated, but he was not happy. It was making him insecure. He would make comments to his friends. Hell, at least it was not 20. Is that Blessed Life Journey? Thank you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate Blessed Life. I do. I appreciate. I do appreciate you. What's going on? It's not okay there. I hope I'm not having issues. Goga, are you in here? Goga, oh no, God's child. TV, thank you for being here. Thank you. Came in with the raid. Fabian and Suzette channel, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I hope I'm not getting issues. I hope waiting till he sounds crazy. I said what I said, let me be honest. Thank you for being here, Fabian and Suzette channel. Thumbs up done. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, share, subscribe. I appreciate it. I appreciate you all. I really do. Thank you for being here. Um, I think it was probably moving too fast or something because it was like not catching up or something. Yeah, my StreamYard is not as caught up, or I don't know, one of them is a little back behind. Hey, real, yeah, okay, because it's real odds. Okay, have you been? Oh, okay, blessed up. Thank you, Blessed Life Journey. I appreciate it. That's my second raid. Thank you. Um, but yeah, I was mentioning, so I'm not. He was. I think we were going through a part where he would talk about, like, he would talk to his friends and he would say, "Man, I'm gonna have to start." That he needed to get in the gym and he needed to start working out because he was gonna have a lot of young kids or something on my tail, but yet he was cheating. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was just crazy. And I think last week or that week that I was talking about it, my brother was in here and he was there back then, and it was just a crazy time. It was like every time I met or I saw who he was cheating with or whatever, it's like she's so much bigger, and every time it kept getting bigger. It was crazy, y'all. So I had to make a decision. I had to make a decision and not allow it to keep me down from moving forward because, again, it wasn't about vanity for me. It was about a quality of life. Michelle Lifestyle, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I really do. Um, Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello. Please like, subscribe. I appreciate you all for being here. Um, Thumbs up the live. Um, I truly appreciate. So, um, but like I said, it's not. It wasn't something that I allowed to keep me back or anything at all. And then last week I talked about my transformation, right? Because after losing over 350 pounds, I've had a lot of people come back and talk to me about it because um, it yes, I went through a lot of surgeries in my transformation. Things Surgeries I never thought that I would have gone through. Lucy Warren's World, thank you for being here, dear. I appreciate you. I really do. Um, I went through a lot of surgeries because of my transformation, right? After losing 350 plus pounds, now it's plus. But it's something I wouldn't change. I didn't think I would be able to. I was blessed that my bestie has been able to be with me in two of those rounds. I've had 3 rounds if you weren't here and you missed it, but I've had 3 rounds of surgery, of skin removal surgery. Um, I've had 3 rounds total, and my bestie was able to be with me on 2 of my rounds, one very recent, which I'm still healing from. So I'm just still going through that, and it's nothing that I would change. But again, a lot of people try to put negativity on it, to you or to me, even though I invested in myself, right? Um, but making that investment, again, I just want to mention it wasn't vanity reasons at all. It wasn't something that I was doing it because of anything. I promise, though, I gave the story of how it happened this June when when I found out the surgeries I was having, not even knowing up front. And it was hilarious. And SBK and I talked about it. But I didn't know up front. And sometimes, y'all, I was talking to somebody about it, but sometimes we are kept from knowing exactly what we're about to go into or through. Um, because we may just do something that is not for vanity or is beyond vanity reasons because I really didn't know, the surgeries I was having. I would have probably done a little bit different, but it's not for vanity reasons at all. It's about my quality of life. Um, because I didn't have my child until I was 36 years old when I had my baby. And so I'm 54. He's this year he'll be graduating from high school. But I've tried to keep myself as healthy as possible, right? Because he is younger. I went through those phases where he was little and he was in elementary, and they thought that, you know, the other mothers were so much younger than me. You know, I mean, I went through those things, right? But now, because I've kept myself going. I will be here, Joe, but I won't be in the chat. Not a problem. Thank you for being here, God's Child TV. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. All of you. FBA stand up. Just believe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Yes. Sorry. I was getting Joe, you are strong. I haven't always been strong. But like I mentioned, the different things that I went through, I needed that foundation. I needed my why. I needed to concentrate on my why, right? I had my child. And that's one of the things, that's one of the reasons that I mentioned that we go through different things, and I would never regret, right? Because going through the things that I went through when I was mentioning my ex-husband, I wouldn't regret it because I have my child, right? And hey, he was here for a reason. He was here for a season. And that's okay. But having gone through it, I realize I'm stronger. Having gone through that, right? Having gone through that experience. And when I tell you, it's been 11 years. I literally the other day I went through. I wish I would have pinned it up, but I have a picture that um it was in my memories, and I got a picture of my son and I 11 years ago, right? And it brought up another picture of us today, and just the changes that we've both made, of course, because he grew up. um, he was what, 6 years old back then, and so we've made so many changes together. But I've also acquired other children that I claim that are my children that I mother, and I'm there for them daily, no matter what, right? So I've been so blessed, because of it all. I wouldn't change it, you know, I would not change it. I wouldn't, and I believe wholeheartedly that having gone through it, I'm a lot stronger because I went through it. And that's the whole thing. I made it through, right? And I've come out, y'all. I've come out like 10 times better, even though I'm single, even though I'm doing it on my own, even though, I bought my house on my own, which is a blessing in itself, right? Um, Bought us a house. And I'm talking about none of it did I do prior to the divorce. So I could give like testimony after testimony of how much I've been blessed. even meeting my best friend, you know, um, it's just been a complete blessing, you know. Um, that that's a whole different conversation, right? But I mention those things because that is about the journey, but it's not just about weight loss, you know? And that's why I like to share, because it's not just about the weight loss. I had to do all of that to make sure that the inside was healing. And eventually the outside will show, right? But it was about the inside healing to anchor it all in together. I hope that makes sense. I really do. I wanted to say, I know, sis, but you have grown. Your dad would be super proud of you. And sis, that's the whole thing. Like, like when I mentioned it last week, I'll mention it again. When my bestie told me, hey, it's best we go in the summertime, because our kids were out of school, right? So I was changing the date. And if you heard this, I'm going to repeat it. I reached out to the doctor office and I said, hey, they're always booked. They're booked like a year in advance all the time. And I was trying to pull in the date for the summertime. And I had told my bestie, if I can't do it this summer, we'll just move it because I'd already paid the down payment. So I had my quote locked in, right? Because my down payment had been paid. So I told him, hey, if we can't go this summer, we'll just wait till next summer. That'll be fine. It'll be after my son graduates. It'll be good. Both of our kids graduate. So I told him it'll be good, after the kids graduate and we'll just go, right? And but when I reached out to the doctor's office and they said we have a cancellation, and the first date they gave me was June 23rd, which it immediately clicked to me that was the anniversary date from when my dad had passed away 2 years ago. And my dad back then used to always, he was one of the ones that I know I mentioned that at the beginning of my weight loss journey, I had mentioned to my dad, Dad, I'm not going to be able to get rid of this skin if I lose so much skin. It was one of those things I was telling myself I didn't want to lose the skin because I would, I didn't want to lose the weight, sorry, because I would have all that skin. And I told him, like, Dad, I'm never going to be, because insurance doesn't pay for cosmetic reasons, right? They'll pay, And so I had told my dad that, and he was like, "Mija, you're gonna get it done." And he alluded to that when he passed away, he would leave me the money to get it done. It was just in conversation at the time, and it didn't happen that way, by the way. But that was something, So I knew when they gave me that date, I knew it was something that was, you know, intervention. It was something that I needed to do. It was God telling me, you're covered. You can do this, So I know he was super proud of me. I know he was there with me. Um, everything, yes, so let me go. I want to make sure Auntie Hannah, story time. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Michelle Lifestyle. I appreciate it. Scorpio, my credit was perfect when I left that pool. Mine wasn't. My credit was shot. I went through a lot trying to fix it. So, and I did. That's another blessing. Joe, your positivity is so refreshing. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And that's something that I work through, I work through every day. About that wallet, hey, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you. There's my bestie. Yeah. So I hope you're doing okay. Good credit means a lot. Oh, baby, with good credit, yes. And I had to work on that, you know. The Bud Files, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it. Scorpio Mama, that was your confirmation, Joe. Girl, yes, it was. It was literally, and you know, SBK can tell you, like he had told me, no, let's try to go in the summertime. It was, well, you know, if we did summertime back in 2019, we had gone in the summertime. So we had gone literally for my birthday or during my birthday, which that's what we ended up doing again this year. So celebrated my birthday then and this year um, there. So it was great, right? It was great. It turned out. But like I tell you, like they usually, and that was confirmation for real because they usually never have dates, um, cancellations if they have a cancellation, right? But the first date they gave me was June 23rd, and I knew it. I knew it. I knew it when they gave me the date. I was like, I'll take it. I'll take it. You know, I mean, I knew it was confirmation. You were right. So, um, most, I mean, most definitely, it was great. I want you to date Senna, SP Scorpio Mama. Um, about that wallet. Thank you so much for being here, y'all. I really appreciate it. Scorpio Mama's always up to something. But so that was what I wanted to. He saw it. Me, he saw it, Scorpio Mama. But but I there's a lot just that I was sharing. I, you know, everything that I was sharing about each week. You know, I wanted to bring it together because when I mentioned my journey was about faith, growth, and reflection. That's what I showed for this live, that I was trying to, you know, share. Um, I wanted to always be transparent. I wanted to, because I know I've mentioned before, and I feel like I'm like sharing again, but I know not everybody was here. But when I mention those things, I mention because I want to help. I want to help someone. See, when I started my whole, yeah, go ahead. I don't know why I do that. I feel like yeah, I'm talking out loud and you can hear me. It's funny. Um, when I mention something or I mention I always think about me being that 30-year-old lady, because I was a lady, that 30-year-old girl that was barely starting her journey, you know, and what I would have needed or wanted to hear at that point, basically. And if there's somebody out there that needs to hear, you know, hey, you are you need to go ahead and put yourself first or think about yourself. It always, that's what always drives me to try to help someone else. That's what I want to do. Thank you for being here, Crossdale. I appreciate it. Blessed Raid. I thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Hit the like button. Crossdale, I appreciate you. Thank you. But I don't know if it's working. Bestie's trying to come back in. There you are. I can hear you, Bestie.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'm on my phone, so
Oh, okay.
internet uh and stuff is all choppy here still. So sorry.
Oh, it's all right. I was mentioning at the beginning, if you didn't hear, we're having storms coming across Texas. and they're actually lined across all the way from where I live, all the way across to where he lives, literally. And they were going, through Texas. And so it was crazy because it doesn't always, it's usually moving towards him from here. But this time they were moving in a line and crossing both of us at the same time. So that was kind of crazy. But I had literal storms at the same time he was having storms. And his internet was going out, my lights were flashing, and then first his power went out. So what it says, if go to the gym, why do you have to have the skin removed? Oh, thank you for asking that.
You wanna answer? Oh, you can answer that. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Um, when and I don't know if that's I said what I said or Vaughn, but when when you lose so much weight so fast, first of all, at the beginning it was kind of fast, right? I dropped 200 pounds within the first year and a half, but I didn't start losing weight until I was around 34 years old, right? And I started losing weight, and skin does not retract that fast at all. And I had a lot of skin, which I do still today, honestly. I have skin where it looks a little loose, but because I need to build muscle, that is all I got to do today. But skin doesn't retract as fast when you lose 350 pounds. I was 525 pounds when I was after I had my child. I had lost more weight again, and I was 300 pounds, and I had 15 pounds of skin that hung off of my stomach. And I've shown pictures, in my intro. There's pictures that you can see where I had stomach and it covered my lap. I didn't have a lap. When I had my baby, he would sit on top of my stomach because it was 15 pounds of skin that they removed. And I all of a sudden it was a big change that I had to go through because I had never seen my lap. I had never seen my thighs. And I remember going through that. Like I was in the car and I could put my seatbelt on and I could see the steering wheel. The steering wheel wasn't moving with my stomach there. Like I don't know if you've never been that heavy, you couldn't imagine it, and I get it, you know. But when you lose that much weight, skin does not. It doesn't matter what you do or how much you go to the gym. Even up to recently, Bestie can tell you, I was in the gym 5 days a week up until recently, right before I went this last round. I was in the gym 5 days a week, and I still carried all my weight from my legs and my butt and that area. I carried all that weight, all that excess skin. I mean, which when they removed that was 10 pounds of skin that they removed off of my legs and my butt area. But it doesn't matter how much you go to the gym if you have that much skin to lose, it doesn't retract. I hope, does that answer it, SBK? What would
Yeah, I
you have
think you.
answered?
Yeah, you answered correctly. It's the same kind of concept whenever someone gains weight. Whenever you gain weight, that's the reason why we have stretch marks, right? I know I have stretch marks.
Right.
And did you hear that popping sound just then?
No.
It's these trans. Oh, that's gunfire. Never mind. Anyways,
He lives
but
in the
it's
country. Yeah.
so anyway. So it's the same kind of concept whenever you have stretch marks, and if you ladies, of course, you ladies know what I'm talking about if you have children, and you have stretch marks. I know I have stretch marks from gradually getting bigger over the for years, around my arms and
And
so
that's
forth, so on.
because of the muscle.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct, correct. So,
Mhm.
and you explained it perfectly. Whenever you gain weight, your skin stretches and it doesn't go back. You know what I'm saying? So no matter how
Lose.
much you go, yeah, no matter how much you go to the gym, you're building muscle underneath that loose skin. It's not fat; it's just loose skin, right? So what you have done, and I think that you have explained it, but what you have done over the years is that you're able to build a foundation, and you've been going to the gym and building muscle, and you know you've had skin removal because of all the your 350 plus pounds, and but that's what you've been doing. So that's the thing with that. So no matter how much you go to the gym, um, if you're losing weight, um, you're going to have some excess skin, especially if you're a considerable amount of weight that you have. So yeah, you answered that perfect. So yeah.
Thank you. It was my dog was I'm house sitting a dog for my cousin. I don't know how to explain that, but I'm taking care of her dog. And he was here growling at me like he needed something, so I had to call my son to come and get him. Sorry. At least, at least you proposed to get it off and are here to tell your story. That's some kind of uncanny discipline. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Scorpio Mama, hand me your phone now.
You see, I'm on mute and I'm dying laughing.
She's so well.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
You're so beautiful and you're an inspiration. Thank you, Nestos. That means a lot. I appreciate it. Did the extra skin make you tired? Hmm. Did it make you tired?
It's still a little bit of weight. That's weight on you, but I can I answer you? Can I answer her on that?
Hmm.
Um, Knowing her, I believe this. I don't know if that's Vaughn's or I said what I
Oh, I
said, but
don't know.
um, I think that the weight around her legs, the skin around her, the extra skin around her legs, that's extra weight, and so that's been causing her some issues. She's already, she was very heavy for a number of years, right? So when she was heavy, uh, it caused some knee problems, knee issues. I believe that you need knee replacement, don't you, Joe?
I was it was during the COVID season and I went to a doctor
Right,
because of my knees because during COVID, so we were quarantined. We were at home now. I was working from home, which was a big change for me. And so when I was working from home, I started getting a lot of swelling in my legs. Junior, the truth, greetings. Thank you for being here, Junior. I appreciate that one. That one is surprised. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm honored. um, but what was I saying? So, so during COVID, I started getting a lot of, being quarantined and working from home and not having to go into the office. I started realizing that my legs were getting very, very swollen. And I didn't know why. That started causing a lot of swelling around my knees, a lot of knee problems, knee pain. Started going to the doctor, and they let me know that first I had lipedema, which is poor circulation in your legs. Second, I found out that I had knee problems. I had had a meniscus tear in one knee, and the other, I ended up that now they have told me I need double knee replacements. But thank the good thing is I'm not old, or I don't think I'm old, but they told me to just wait it off and try to lose some weight to try to get some alleviate that weight off of my knees, and that way I could try to deal with the knee problem, because what I was told, this is not medical advice, and I'm not a medical, but what I was told by my doctor is knee replacements last around 10 years. So he didn't suggest that I got them yet if I didn't need them, if I could do something with my weight to try to alleviate the pain, because they last for 10 years. So in another 10 years, I would probably need to get them again. And so he didn't want me to have to go through that. Um, but I always knew that I had so much excess skin in my lower extremities where I carried my excess weight when I used to be 525 pounds, right? So I always knew I needed to get that skin removed. Um, but it was a matter of, do I do the knee replacements, which is covered by insurance, or do I do the skin removal that I have to fund, right? So that was always, in the last 5 years, that was always a struggle for me to try to figure out, am I going to pay this, or, what am I going to do first? When we went this summer and I had my final round of surgery, the doctor told me that I made a very good decision to do the skin removal first, before, possibly going through through knee replacements. So all that excess skin, I said it was 10 pounds of excess skin on my legs, on my thighs, right? But all that excess skin was just extra weight that I didn't need to be carrying, that was hindering me more. Um, I had dropped the weight that I needed to drop in case I was going to have the surgery, because that was one thing, they didn't want me to have the surgery if I was still really heavy, over 200 pounds or whatever. Um, I said what I said. Thank you for letting us know. We kept trying to ask. Do not, boss Scorp. I Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Sure.
I have a question. So
Yes.
I said what I said, aka waiting to exhale. Did ask
Yes.
a great question. So how are your knees now? Is it a lot better since you have had your procedure? How are they feeling?
Actually, I don't feel the pressure that I used to feel, honestly. See, I'm still healing, guys. I'm only now, how many weeks now? I'm in my 11th week. I'm in my 11th week, and I'm still healing. So I haven't been released to actually lift weights until after next week. But I believe, if my math is mathing. But I don't feel like I did start back in the gym doing cardio, and when I'm doing my cardio, I don't feel the pain in my knees. I'm healing, right? I'm healing. I'm dealing with some swelling from the surgery, but my knees, I'm not having any issues on. I'm not. Like pain in my knees, where I don't think I've even complained about that, have I? I don't think you've heard me complain about pain in my knees. I'm still healing from the thighs, right? I'm still dealing with that, but actual pain in my knees, I haven't really had. That's not something that I'm really dealing with. Oh, sorry. Is that the one you had up, or is there another question you had highlighted?
Yeah.
This is the one. What's one or two things
Yeah,
you both
that's the one.
you unhighlighted it? What's one or two things you both could go back and tell yourself in your 20s? What would you say? In my 20s, don't get married. Don't get married too soon, too early, because in your 20s, you're still trying to find yourself. Actually, I was in a podcast, one of my favorite podcasts that I listen to in the mornings, and and that's one of the things that was said. It was like in your 20s, you're still, trying to find yourself, trying to, I wouldn't do things too early, before you take care of yourself and deal with yourself and deal with the things that you need to deal with. That's what I would tell myself. What about you, SBK?
Um, to answer my brother real, the one thing that I would do in my 20s would be number one. I worked hard in my 20s. I worked a lot. Uh, I work a lot now, a lot more, but I worked a lot in my 20s overnight. I did a lot of crazy stuff. So I would say invest more, and save more. If uh, just building my credit. Not to say I have bad credit now, but back then, if I would have invested more, then I would have got a jump start. I guess number two, health wise, since we're talking about health wise, um, I would have I wouldn't have changed anything there, because I was basically very active and so forth. But I guess I would um, I would have used it to my advantage as far as like trying to with my mom, my dad, my loved ones, whatever. But when you get my loved ones, whatever, like my mom and dad, they get stuck in their ways, and they're not gonna be exercising or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I would have basically tried to like the things that we have available today. Uh, we didn't have available back then, but I probably would have just tried to get them to be, hey, let's go for a walk. You know what I mean? That's just try to be more active. You know what I mean? Because teaching and the information as far as with fitness and stuff like that, and being active, you know, just getting the information and just the way you approach the people about it, instead of saying, hey, you need to work out more, you need to get active, just there's ways to go about things. So, but I've you've talked about it with your parents, I've talked about it with mine. A lot of our elders were stuck in their ways and be like, hey, it's too late for me, you just keep on doing what you're doing. So
Right.
that's what my mom and dad were saying. um, but that's two things that I would have done: invest more, um, and just about the health and fitness with my mom and my loved ones.
And that's the whole thing. Like, we can't, that's my drive today, right? My drive today is to try to break cycles, right? I mean, and it's not about, I'm not saying that they did life the way they did life, right? But it comes a time when you gotta learn from that, right? You gotta learn if you see what happened or what they did. I mean, and I've mentioned many times, my dad was my biggest cheerleader, you know, and I would tell him, "Hey, Dad, you can still do it too, right?" But he was like, "No, it's too late for me, but I want you to do it," you know. And it was like, oh, that was tough to go through, but I did everything, and I promise it's the truth. But I did everything I could to give him the best quality of life that he could have with what he had, and I continued trying to do what he wanted me to do, which was to get, healthier, to get, do the things. He knew what he had done wrong, and he was trying to tell me, this is what I did wrong. You do better, So, learning from those things and trying to break those cycles now, right? Be that better example. There was a question earlier, do you feel you're a role model? And in many ways, um, I'm a leader for those around me that are watching me. I don't know that I want to be a role model for them, but I want to do the best that I can, that when they see, or because see, when I'm here on YouTube on my channel, this is going to live on. This is going to be my legacy. This is going to be live on beyond me, right? And so I want my kids to have this to look back on, so they can see this is what mom was going through. This is what mom did, you know? And I want that to live on with them, through them, so they know, hey, don't give up, you know? There was another question here, right below real, that I want to go to first. Joe, I don't know if you said this or not, but are you still trying to lose, or are you focusing on, oh, this is Miss Wanda, I'm sorry. Um, are you focusing on toning? I'm focusing on toning. Um, I will be. So I mentioned that I'm still healing, and I've only been released to go to do cardio right now. So right now that's what I'm doing. I'm literally I've literally, this is my, what I consider my last round, right? I don't foresee myself, because it's not for vanity reasons at all. At all. It's for my better quality of life, right? So this is for me my last round, and I feel that I just need to give myself time, because I will need it. My bestie mentioned that when I was going through surgery, the doctors let him know I was going through a very, what did you call it? What did they call it? A very big surgery, or
Yeah,
what did
they
they
just
call
said
it?
it was there was a lot of work done, very strenuous, and I think it's used the word strenuous and very serious, basically a serious procedure.
I was going through a lot of changes. I would be having a lot of changes, and that's what in my follow-ups, that's what the doctors continue to let me know, because I have swelling that I'm going through, and things like that in my thighs and stuff, right? And so they tell me, give it time, give it time. It needs to especially, also, I think I mentioned that I found out that I have lipedema, right, which is poor circulation. So that circulation has to get refunctioning, in a sense, if you think about it, in my legs, um so those things that I'm going through, I can't rush. People will ask you all the time, through every single surgery or every single change, how long does it take to heal? How long did it take you to heal? And that's very hard for me to answer, because of how much reconstruction I've had, right? Because again, I lost over 350 pounds. I mean, I don't know if you can even, my bestie doesn't even weigh that, you know? So, and he's a big guy, right? He doesn't weigh that much. Um, so, but I lost more than that man, you know what I mean? In weight off of me. So, my body has, and I'm only 5'3", guys. I'm only 5'3", so my body frame is not that big, you know. So, and I talk about that because it does make a difference. It does really make a difference. The skeletal on my myself, having to reform, get used to the new outside layer, in other words, right? I mean, if you just think about it, it makes sense. But that will be what I will be focusing on for sure, Ms. Wanda. The soul session, I will be focusing on toning for sure. For sure. Today,
Please,
I'm
please
100.
focus on, please focus on Tony. Please,
Why?
please do that. You,
Why?
because you're you're kind of hard headed, and the doctors, ladies and gentlemen, I'm putting her out there because I know ladies when it Miss Wanda, other ladies that are serious about y'all's health. This is something y'all gotta keep in mind. Whenever you're doing a bunch of cardio, whenever you're doing a bunch of aerobic exercises, those types of exercises are going to burn fat, right? So it's going to keep burning fat and so forth and so on. Well, you got to mix it up. There's nothing wrong with burning fat, right? But when you're a certain weight, we talked about this. I think I said what I said was asked a great question about, hey, you're going to the gym. Why you got to lose? Why is the skin? Why you got to get the skin removed? Well, I mean, it's just the same thing is going to apply whenever you keep on losing. Have you ever, I'm gonna ask you to chat. Have you guys ever saw somebody that lost a lot of weight? They kept on losing weight, and then all of a sudden they kind of look sick looking. They didn't look right. You know what I mean? Um, that's because there's no weight training involved, right? So you get to a point to where you're losing weight, right? You're losing weight. You're going to the gym. You're doing a lot of aerobics. You're getting on the stairmaster. You're getting on the treadmill. You're walking. You're staying active, right? But you're not incorporating any weight training. So what happens is, you're losing weight, right? And your skin is just basically hanging off of you, right? So that's when you need to incorporate weight training. And this is something, of course, I've already known, but the doctors were telling Joe, hey, um, you're at a place now where all you need to focus on is the toning part, right? Getting into the gym, go, you know, uh, getting weight training done, whether it's on a machines or dumbbells or barbells or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that is what's going to keep. What does weight training do? Of course, it builds muscle, but it keeps your bones healthy. Having healthy bones, your bones to be, keeps your bones from being brittle, so forth. Um, it helps you. It helps even weight training helps blood circulation, right? So weight
Right.
training is very, very good for you. It's good for your skeletal system, right? It's good for your nervous system. So you got to get to a point to where, if you're, it's great to do cardio, right? We should do cardio every time we work out, but at the same time, you gotta have a healthy balance of doing the cardio and weight training in order for you to, to look your best, and to feel your best. So
Mhm.
I
And
just
I
wanted to add that
honestly,
in.
yeah, and honestly, when prior to June, right, prior to the summer, I was working out 5 days a week. Some my weekends are my rest days, and every day I did do cardio every day because for me, because I have knee problems, when I do, the main thing that I've been doing is the stationary bike. If you know anything about people who have had knee replacements, one of the main physical therapy that you have after for the knees is bicycle riding, stationary bike. It's very, very good for the knees, and it literally feels like juicing my joints. That's how it feels for me. When I mean, there's times I put a video out actually on my shorts. I put it out just a few days ago, and there's times that if I have not worked my knees out, and because I literally couldn't, how long was it? I had to wait 8 weeks before I did any kind of cardio after my surgery. So I had to wait those 8 weeks. After 8 weeks, I got back in the gym and I went to get that. That video was probably when I got back in the gym, and just getting my knees moving. I've always said like it feels like they're rusty, and you're getting some WD-40 in that knee, and it's moving. And I tell my bestie I gotta juice these joints. Like that's the way it feels, right? It feels like you're getting juice in those joints and they're moving again, when they start getting stiff. And so that I do that every day so I can feel juiced. And but I did weight training every single day, and I alternated it, of course, whatever. But I didn't just do cardio. In other words, that's all I'm trying to say. Sorry. Um, I was gonna read, yeah, what Real had mentioned. Great answers. It's good to reflect, self-reflect, and to know it's never too late for anything. I've seen it happen. It's very true. Very true. It's never too late at all. Um, Scorpio Mama is something else, y'all. Okay, so my son is. Oh wait, I wanted to read this one first. No, isn't this one first, Bestie? My sons stay encouraging and pushing my husband and I. Sometimes I think you forget who's the parents, but I know he wants the best for us. The goal is to keep our mobility, and that is it. That was, yeah. So Ms. Wanda, I literally saw my dad lose his mobility. He had the same thing as I did. I have osteoarthritis on my knees. My dad had the same. And he would tell me after he retired, he stopped moving. He stopped, he used to climb um, chemical towers. He used to do even, he was a heavy set man, but tall, and he would climb towers. He was on the go all the time. But after retirement, he stopped moving, and he would tell me, I'm telling you, he would tell me all the things he did wrong and tell me, you got to take care of it now. You got to do it now. You can't let yourself get stiff, in other words, because that's what arthritis does. It stiffens your joints, depending on where you have the arthritis, wherever you have it, right? And so if you don't allow your joints to continue to move, they're going to get stiff, you know. And the osteoarthritis is in the knees. So I've seen what happens. I really have. So that's what I mean by breaking cycles. Like, I've seen the outcome. I can't not do something about it now that I'm still able. And that's what keeps me going, literally. I mean, I say it all the time. I'm here. I want to break cycles, you know. Sirius S, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you, dear. I truly appreciate you. Um, but yes, and that's why he's encouraging, because like I understand that I would try to thank you, Scorpio Mom. I'm proud of you, Joe. Thank you, dear. I really appreciate you. My son is adamant that he wanted me to start lifting, so I used to be the cardio queen. Now I try to mix it up. It is so much better for you. It really is. The older we get, we lose muscle mass a lot quicker. Not just because we do cardio, right? But just in aging, you lose muscle mass. So it is a lot better. I bought bands. Oh, I was gonna show them the other day, but I couldn't find it. But we I bought bands like this for my mom, and I would tell her, like, just use them, mom, just so you can just get a little bit of strength in your arms. And I have this here because I can't lift right now. So this is what I do when I'm working and I'm at my desk. I'm literally working on my arms. I want to get like my bestie one day, but uh, so I try to work on my arms, when I'm still here because I can't go and lift or anything. So, um, I love that you're incorporating lifting. It really, really, um, they actually say, I'm not a, personal trainer or anything, but they say that it does better for fat loss, lifting or gaining muscle is better. So that's great. I love that. Waiting to exhale. It appears that you lost the weight just in time before it started causing severe health issues in your life. Very much so. Um, that was one of the things that was one of the things that my dad would encourage me for to do, because him he wasn't it he didn't have any kind of morbid obesity illnesses until he got into his 45 and beyond. So and I never had them. Even being 500 plus pounds, guys, I never had high blood pressure. I never had high cholesterol. None of those morbid obesity, even being 500 plus pounds, right? So he used to tell me, that was one of the things he used to tell me. I was 30 years old, and he would tell me, you need to start now. You need to start now, Mija, because You're gonna get, he figured I was gonna follow his health, you know, journey basically. And he would tell me, because when he was 30, he never, and I come from a family of heavy people, right? He was heavy. He was a heavy man, heavy set man. Um, always. But he was tall. My dad was what, 6 foot? My dad was 6 foot, you know, and but he was a heavy man, right? I'm 5'3". My brothers are 6 foot, 6'1". I'm the only one that was short. I don't know why. Anyway, shut up, SBK. But yeah, so that was one of the things that's why he would push me so much. He would tell me, like, you need to do it now, before you get those illnesses. It's a huge transformation for you, and congratulations. Thank you so much. Yeah, I want to sit in his lap. SBK. I knew who you meant, dear. I knew who you meant. Ah, my daughter looked different. Yep, SBK, like Luther Vandross looked. We just talked
Yeah,
about that today, right?
yeah.
What did you say?
Well, look, he didn't look right, So you can lose a bunch of weight, but you can
Mm,
still kind of look, not look right. So they
yes,
call it
after
that.
he
I
lost the
get
weight,
that.
you're right. She said, I'd rather be fat. Why, Scorpio Mama? Thank you, Crosdale. I really appreciate it. Good tip. Thank you, Lisa. There's my serious S. Happy Thursday, Joe, SBK mods in chat. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of you being here. I truly do. Scorpio, did your daughter lose a lot of weight? This Destiny Forever Walks PhD. Thank you for being here, dear. I appreciate you. I'm so sorry I hadn't seen you. Hello, Joe. Blessings and love to you. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. I didn't know she had come in. Okay, I think I got to the bottom. Thank you so much. Scorpio's something else. Uh-huh. But yeah, so I think I just wanted to, get here, just kind of recap everything that I was putting together, because I just wanted to go over it. Um, and I don't know if that's I don't know. I mean, it's just something that it's been a journey. It's not over. That is the best part, though. The best part for me is, that's why I mentioned the Philippians 1:6, because my journey is not over, and I feel like it's only just begun. And that's why I feel like that butterfly just coming out of that cocoon. and that is the part, like, just toning, and just just having a better quality of life, literally. That is my purpose, having a better quality of life, to try to extend my life as much as possible. But because, man, y'all, if you haven't, Destiny Forever Walks PhD, I don't want to mention her age. She mentions it on her channel, so I would just encourage you all to go over to her channel. But she is an inspiration. She's older than I am. I'll say that. But I say it all the time, man. If I had knees still, and good knees, I would. She jump ropes. She's a dancer, and she keeps up with her health at her age, and she's an inspiration, y'all. She's an inspiration. I would encourage you all to, if you want to be inspired when you're older, and you want to keep going, and just, I follow a lot. Me and my sis all the time. She says, "Oh, I follow her too." I follow a lot of ladies that are older than me and are still doing it, are still in shape. I mean, I know a lady that started doing bodybuilding at 60 years old, and she's in her 70s now, and she literally does shows and stuff. But I mean, those are encouraging things for me. Like, it's never too late. And I used to tell my dad that it's not too late, Dad, but that those things, those people, they encourage me. It's never too late. And maybe I'll do something like that one day. I don't know. But who dat said something, SBK. I don't think that Luther didn't look right. It was just that we were so used to the big Luther, we couldn't adjust to the thin Luther. When I lost a lot, people, my parents didn't like the look. It's true. I went through that too. I really did. And honestly, who dat, I went through it personally also. I've gone through it personally. Like, even today, like, my mom will see me and she loves the way I look, and I think I look sick. Like, it's not a brilliance. Thank you for being here. I'm late to the party. No, it's all good. I appreciate you being here though. But it's been a change for me. It's been a an adjustment for me, literally. And it's just, it's a mind thing. I say it all the time. Like, they didn't they regardless of what surgery you get or whatever, like, they don't change your brain. So there's times that I still see myself Big Joe. That's what I call her. I still see Big Joe, and I say it all the time, right? But it's been an adjustment for myself. And you're right. You make a really good point. You really do. Thanks for the kind words and compliments, Joe. I appreciate your kindness. You are my inspiration. I admire everything about you. Much love. Thank you. Oh, you have no idea, Miss Destiny. You really are an inspiration. I show my mom your channel. I've shown my mom your channel, um, because like I mentioned that I got her bands because I want her to work on, and she's like, I don't know how she's doing that. My mom's 79 years old, and so I tell her all the time, Mom, you can still do it. You can do it, and that's why I got her some bands so she could at least do that. Because I don't. I just, anything I just try whatever I can, right? Who says, I used to say I wanted to be so thin that people would whisper behind my back, what is wrong with me? Yeah. I told SBK, man, if I would have known what I was getting done, I would have gotten so much different stuff done. Because okay, yeah. So when I went in 2019 and I had surgery done, right? I had my upper body skin removal done, full upper body, right? At that same time, I had the doctor quoted my lower body because I had already pre-planned to go. It was 2019, we were there, and I had pre-planned to go in 2020 for my lower body. I was planning it out, y'all. And but then 2020 happened. Y'all know what happened in 2020, so I didn't go. However, I was talking to the doctor and I told the doctor, am I lying, SBK? I told the doctor, look, I'm going to get my legs done, but I don't want you to take my butt and my hips. I did. I did. I like my butt and my hips, okay, y'all? So it's been an adjustment for me. So I can't wait to get in the gym so I can work on my muscles because I'm crazy. I know. But hey, anyway. Um, but that's all I had, SBK. Do you have anything else?
Nope, I do not. I'm sorry I can't executive produce. It's crazy here in East Texas right now because of this freaking weather. But you know, you can't stop Mother Nature. But
Right.
if I did not speak to everybody in the chat, I apologize. It's been a struggle to to even look at the stream, but I am on stage right now on my cell phone. So I was trying to be executive producer, but um, Mother Nature didn't let me. So, but I appreciate your story, Joe. I appreciate you sharing, uh, doing the recap and what you've learned and so forth and so on. And of course, I think I could speak for all of us. You have an amazing story. So keep inspiring.
Thank
That's all
you.
I can say.
Thank you. No, I'd never remove my booty, Junior. I'm gonna work on it. I can't wait. Man, you don't know man, when I can start lifting again. It's the glutes, okay? It's the glute muscle that I want to work on, right? The glute muscle I got to work on. So, but waiting to excel. We're getting strong wind, and it's supposed to rain here also in West Texas. Really? Man, it's been crazy here. Waiting to excel. It's been crazy. It's okay up here. Bro, I'm jealous, and Joe should share stuff with me and not jealous for real. Wanda, Wanda, you're doing a great job. I watched you. And then you even film yourself in the gym. I can't do that. I can't do that. I do a little bit of video, but I can't film myself in the gym. Thanks, Joe.
Selfie queen, ladies and gentlemen, the selfie queen. She can't
Shut up.
film her. She can film herself, but she takes those selfies like a like a mofo.
Wait, look, if you are making any kind of transition, if you are changing yourself in any way, I suggest you take a lot of pictures for yourself. It ain't for no one else, okay? It's for yourself. Because I promise you, you won't. There's a lot of times, even today, there's a lot of times I put out a picture of me side by side 3 years apart. I don't see the changes unless I see it in a picture. And I put it by a picture of me 3 years ago. And I could see the change in my shape is still the same. It's just smaller, you know? And it doesn't mean, but it's a mental thing for me. I can't see it unless I have a picture of it. So take your selfies. They're for you and for you alone. They don't need to be for no one else. Mm, mm.
I want to say, not only does Joe inspire me because you try to go every day, but Miss Wanda, again, yeah, you just shouted out Miss Wanda. I love what she's got going on with her channel and how she's sharing, working out every day. Because if it wasn't for you ladies, posting and Wanda's always moving in the gym, always inspiring. So that's what it's all
Yeah.
about. You know, I was giving you a hard time about the selfies, but I do that as well. But it's just to let people. It's I want people to hold me accountable, right? So whenever I take selfies in the gym, hey, I'm here. I just want people to hold me accountable. Hey, uh, oh, you're in the gym. Good job, good job. And that's a mental thing, of course. Whenever I see uh, Joe, Miss Wanda, others that I've seen, that's killing it in the gym, uh, it's an inspiration. You know what I mean? So you guys keep on doing what you're doing.
Miss Destiny, is that question for me? How old do you think I am? Oh yeah, Joe. I didn't see the end. I think you've mentioned it on your channel before. You had a birthday. I think you're 73, Miss Destiny. Let me know if I'm right. I think 72 or 73. I know you had a birthday. Um, I believe. Yeah, she's around that age and 72, 72. She's around that age, and y'all would be surprised. I want you to go check her out. She what do you call it? Jump ropes, like it ain't no jump ropes. She dances on the treadmill. She has this thing. A lot of people have given her, I read her comments. People give her a hard time about dancing on the treadmill. That it's in her home. It's not, she's being safe. She's enjoying. And that's what I tell people. Whatever you do for your health, do something that you enjoy doing, right? Because then it won't be a struggle to do it. I learned to enjoy going to the gym. That is the cheapest therapy. I'm not joking. I love going to the gym, not to find no one, not to look at no one. Don't bother me in the gym. I enjoy going to the gym, you know? So find something that you enjoy doing. I think somebody was doing like kickboxing or boxing, period, something you enjoy. Zumba. I have a cousin that she's a Zumba instructor. I can't do Zumba because of my knees. Like I tried once with her and I just no. But do something that you enjoy doing, literally, and it'll give you that inspiration to do it. I mean, and if you love swimming, so somebody else had said they love swimming. Swimming is the greatest. It's a great exercise. Whatever you do for your health, and like I said, it is about quality of life, literally. I'm not here to, browbeat anyone. I'm just literally, it's about quality of life for me. Yes, I say all the time, my Facebook friends and YouTube are my accountability partners, whether they want to be or not. I agree. That's how I started. I started on Instagram, and I would post as accountability to myself, you know, and my dad used to read my posts all the time, and that's where I started. I was never on YouTube. It was Instagram where I started out, and that's why I did it. It was my accountability, you know. Um, Joe, it's called body dysphoria when we look into the mirror and still see our fat self instead of our smaller self. Yes, it's true. It's a true statement. She's 72, y'all. When I tell you, Miss Destiny, Miss Wanda, she subbed up to you, Miss Destiny. Thank you, Miss Wanda. You won't be. She's great. I love Miss Destiny. Who dat facts. Mhm. My husband goes to the pool almost every day. That is great. I promise it is. One of my brothers, he lost a lot of weight in the pool. He was trying to get ready for the military, and that's where he lost the end of his weight before he went to the military. It was the pool. Do what you enjoy doing, and your happiness will always show up and stand out for you. It's your passion and purpose in life. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It is the truth. Yes, ma'am. She said it perfectly. I miss my swimming pool. I used to swim a lot. Oh, yes. If I had a pool, yes, ma'am. That's where I started. I mentioned when I was 500 plus pounds, I was very bottom heavy. Again, my bottom, my butt, my hips, I carried my weight on the bottom always, and that's where beginning of my journey. Um, I started out in the pool, just walking, you know, swimming. I would walk and then I would swim the little bit, at the end. But it was like an Olympic sized pool where I started. It was very, it was hard, but I did it because I did have to go to a gym and use their pool, but I had to, I was determined, right? But that is where I started. But with that said, I thank you all for being here. I truly appreciate it. I hope you all hit the like button. I hope you all, if you haven't already, subscribe to me. I'm so thankful that you were here to, just hear my journey. I appreciate you all. I really do. I thank you. Miss Avril, she's dropping some links in the chat for Tap In. We are having Tap In podcast. That is a Tap In. Tap In podcast will be podcast airing tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. And it's always a great time. The bar is at my besties. That's on Saturday night is the bar. That's Besties Channel, SBK Media, Texas. Waiting to Excel. Yes, the ladies, you had a great live on Wednesday. They go live on Wednesdays at, my time is 2 p.m., I believe. Or is it 2 p.m. Eastern? I'm not sure. But you can go to their channel. Miss Alice, she goes live, I think, on Mondays and Thursdays, if I'm not mistaken. But that is great. I subscribe to Destiny to see what my 75, soon to be 76 old self can get some motivation. It's true. I mean, it's motivation for me. It really is. But who dat, you're doing great. If you lost a lot of weight too, so you mentioned that. So I'm sure you can get some motivation with Miss Destiny. Thank you all for being here. I truly appreciate it. Please share this live and subscribe. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Have a good night again. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. You're welcome so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, Joe. Blessings and love you too. I am so proud of you and your success in your weight loss journey. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support, all of you. Kevin, thank you for being here. I'm back. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like button, Kevin. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you so much for being here, Brilliance. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your help, Maud. I appreciate it. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Miss Destiny says, welcome back, Kevin. Thanks for joining us tonight. I didn't see you in the first place. I'm sorry, Kevin. I must have missed you when you came in first time. I appreciate you being back. Thank you. I'm sorry I missed you. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. Is that it, Bestie? Miss Alice says, thank you. Good night, everyone. Stay blessed. Bestie, you good?
I'm good.
Are you there?
I'm here.
All right. All right, guys. All right. Until next time, keep pushing through with me. We are stronger together. Trust and believe.